Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our MGCA meeting this evening. You all got the agenda, which we posted on Friday. But I'm kind of going to ask permission to divert from the agenda. As you probably know by now, we lost on Monday night Mary Ann Thompson, who was an original shareholder.
Yeah, Mary C. and Mary A.
Was and chair of MHC and of MRHS, and she has been quite an amazing woman. So I asked Phyllis Johnson, who has known her forever, worked with her, primarily at MRHS, to share some memories with us. Phyllis is a shareholder in Building 1, and she's an original one.
I'm going to move my chair and sit in my chair.
Yeah, that's okay. You want to sit there?
It's okay.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Mary A. Thompson.
Excuse me, please. Thank you.
Mary A. Thompson said, I remember the world. She even co-wrote a book with that title. Tonight, let us remember her. Born just a few miles south of Canada's south border, into a typical nuclear family seeking the American dream. She was well grounded in the ideals of the United States. She was very patriotic, she was very Christian, and above all, very inquisitive of the whole of God's creation. She possessed a worldview from a very early age and set about traveling to, quote, see what that was all about, end quote. I do believe she saw most of the world in her travels and her work. Mary served the whole of humanity. She was fun-loving, art-loving, people-loving, animal-loving, earth-loving, stubborn. She spent her life chasing and serving those loves. She kept up with all the friends she made on her travels and enjoyed shepherding them around when they visited this area. She was loyal, and she was ever so kind to many family youth that she helped to school in the joys of the world. Oh, how they enjoyed her. Mary was involved in every aspect of Morningside Gardens: tenant relations, tenant selection, house rules, MHHC board, serving as its president for many years, 9 years. MGCA community relations, represented MG to the cooperative associations and to many other associations, and too many other associations to even list, including the UN International House and Riverside Church. I came to know her best when she became a new member of the MRHS Board of Directors. Sylvia Friedman, the board president, soon retired, and we prevailed upon Mary to become the MRHS president. She was to serve the organization for many years, continuing the work that previous leaders had started. She was a builder, and together with board members, new initiatives grew into fruition: healthcare, financial stability efforts, fundraising, personnel building, and her particular love, the annual freight flea market. Her life's work still serves her well in that position, as she served MRHS and MHHC. Almost every day, Mary could be seen to greet the MRHS clients as they stopped in that office. Together, Mary, Carlotta Demanda, and I took on the task of expanding that small MRHS office into an adjoined apartment and the space for health care in another building. Reconstruction was required, and we oversaw the hiring of an architect, construction company. We added furnishings. The finished product is largely what you see today. Together, we faced the crisis that developed between MRHS and MHHC, and we managed to secure a better footing for MRHS. Morningside Gardens was served well by this unique lady. The simple words so well by this unique lady that simple words cannot convey what she accomplished for us. Rather, enough it is to say that to many, or in many quarters, Mary A. Thompson was considered Miss Morningside Gardens. Tonight, we say thank you, Mary. You fought the good fight, you finished your race. You now join the benevolent ghosts that we feel around the gardens. May you now rest in peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I guess it's kind of difficult to know, but we do. All right. Now I'd like to introduce to all of you Sabrina Bowman. Sabrina is assistant manager, and actually at the request of Building 5, I put bed bugs on the agenda, especially Mary. Mary Wilson asked me for it, and I thought that I'll ask Sabrina to speak because she probably knows more about it than almost anyone. Okay, welcome Sabrina.
Thank you. Good evening, shareholders. I lost one already.
She said, oh, you want to come here in the middle?
Okay.
Then come in, sit down. You can sit, you can stand, whichever.
Good evening, shareholders of Morningside. My name is Sabrina Bowman. I'm the Assistant General Manager here at Morningside. I was asked to come here tonight to discuss bed bugs. Over the past several months, we've had incident occurrences in several buildings of bed bugs. Since November, we've become more aggressive with dealing with bed bugs, and the handout that you have tonight, I just want to go point per point and just review the procedures that we've been following. First and foremost, contact management immediately if you believe you have bed bugs. Do not attempt self-treatment. A lot of times when shareholders, tenants, residents find out that they have bed bugs, they either are ashamed to report it or they try to do a home cure themselves. That is not the way to handle it. You must come speak to management. Management will immediately contact the exterminator for a visual inspection. The inspection happens no more than 48 hours, at least 24 hours after you report it to management. Once the exterminator has confirmed that bed bugs are evident in the apartment, treatment begins immediately. But the apartment must be prepped in order for the exterminator to treat the apartment. Management will distribute a prep list to guide residents on how to prepare the apartment for treatment. Normally, 2 treatments will be performed within a 2-week period. The third visit usually consists of the inspection, which is no more than 3 days after the second treatment, and that usually is the last inspection, the last visit where they will clear the apartment. If there's no evidence of bed bugs, the exterminator will certify the apartment as bed bug free. Adjacent apartments will be scheduled for inspection and preventative maintenance performed. You will have to vacate the apartment for at least 2 hours. When an apartment is found to have bed bugs, the exterminator will perform preventative maintenance on the apartment above, the apartment below, and the adjacent apartments. Again, you will have to vacate the apartment for at least 2 hours. They will inspect your apartment for bed bugs as well as do a preventative maintenance, which consists of outlets. They will dust your outlets and they will fill in the cracks and crevices of the apartment. They will spray. The exterminator that we use, they also have organic green products that we can use if someone doesn't want the chemicals in the apartment. You can also request that. Proper procedures for removal of personal items and or furniture must be adhered to. We've had one incident in a building where someone who had bed bugs brought a mattress downstairs, which wasn't properly wrapped. Therefore, we had to have a canine come in and inspect the common areas of that building to make sure that none of the bed bugs escaped from the mattress and infected the building. The cost of eradication is at the expense of the corporation. However, at the discretion of the exterminator, it may be determined that some personal items and or furniture may need to be either properly discarded or treated off-site. In those cases, the additional expense will be the responsibility of the shareholder. The shareholder is advised to check with their insurance carrier for coverage. Procedures on preventing and eradicating bed bugs safely are available in the management office. As we know, bed bugs are a nuisance that can be minimized and treated effectively. Proactive monitoring, early detection, and prompt notification will avoid larger problems and help eradicate the bed bugs immediately. There are some websites that you can visit will give you more information on bed bugs. Does anyone have any questions?
It really has to do with the procedure, where it says, the bullet point 4 says manager will distribute a prep list to guide residents. Is that done like at the time you report it, so that if the exterminator comes, you're ready
Right.
if they have to do that?
As soon as
So
the
you're prepared if they come
Yes.
and find, okay.
Yes, as soon as the exterminator determines that there's bed bugs in the apartment, he's on my speed dial, I'm on his speed dial. He calls me immediately, we meet, I get the information from the shareholder, I immediately email them the prep list. Because the quicker you have the prep list, the quicker you can get the apartment ready for treatment.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
If you have a feeling you have bed bugs, would it make sense for the person to know what to do so that you don't have that gap between identification
Right.
and then prep? Would it make sense to do?
Again, right, we have procedure guidelines in the office. If you want them, you can give me your name and number and I can send them to you.
And then my other question about procedure is, it says if there's no evidence of bed bugs after treatment,
Right.
the exterminator will certify the apartment has done drug-free, and then
Correct.
its adjacent apartments will be scheduled for inspection. When did the adjacent apartments get inspected?
Simultaneously.
So-
Everything is, as soon as I'm notified that apartment has bed bugs, we set up the prep work, the treatment for the apartment that's infected. At the same time, the letters are sent out to the adjacent apartments. We give them a date. Usually they give me a hard time that I pinpoint a date that I need to get into the apartment, but I work with everyone's schedule. As soon as we can get into that apartment, it's more effective.
Alberta?
On this prep list, are there any supplies that one would need to have in order to prep their apartment?
Supplies.
That we should have on hand?
The most thing that I can think of would be plastic wrap. When prepping your apartment, basically what you have to do is take all your clothing, your bedding, drapery, and put it in a plastic bag. And wash it, either dry clean it, either wash or dry clean it.
Before putting it in the plastic or after?
No, before putting it in the plastic.
And I have one other quick question. Is there a difference in effectiveness between the organic and the regular?
There is. The exterminator prefers to use the spray, the chemicals, because it's more effective. The organic, the green products, they work, but they take much longer. But again, like I said, some shareholders don't want the chemicals in their apartment. As far as the preventative maintenance, they actually they mix the organic with the chemical.
Okay, I have people really. John, then Lottie. John?
Just Andrea's question about prepping your apartment if you think you have bed bugs. People can misdiagnose that they have bed bugs. So you shouldn't start prepping your apartment if you think you have bed bugs. The best course of action is to get Sabrina immediately and have management and have the exterminator go in. And then you can start the preparation. Because sometimes it's nothing but carpet beetles or something
Right.
like that. So please don't try to self-diagnose this.
Lottie?
You don't mention it, but I'm curious to find out what the dog has to do with finding bed bugs.
Okay. Canines are trained. We have canines that they train canines for bomb sniffing. They train canines for all types of things, and they actually train canines for bed bugs. The canine that we use, the handler, he lives with the handler, he trains him all day long, he lives with him 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So he's constantly training him, constantly keeping him, yeah. Okay.
Susan?
Now, okay, there's two questions I think. So when you say there'll be a visual inspection, would the dog be coming on that first inspection or
No.
only if the visual inspection
Right.
shows something?
What normally happens, if you think you have bed bugs, the exterminator will come and inspect. He'll do the visual. They actually prefer the visual. If for some reason he sees nothing, you're still complaining, you're itching, something's biting you, then we would bring the canine in.
Okay, and the second question is, which buildings have had it? You said several. The last minutes I saw just mentioned one building.
Okay, three buildings have that.
Which three? I mean, shouldn't we know whether
Okay.
they're in our building? At least, you know.
Building 5, building 4, and building 2.
They have ours too.
We had bed bugs
Yeah, we
in this
had
building
three.
also.
Building 3 has had them. I think they've had the problem.
Okay,
We're not gonna mention.
And will we be notified about, you know, if they're gonna be on our floor, but maybe not in our apartment? I mean, to be aware.
Well, again, the adjacent apartments, the apartments that would be affected, if any, they are notified so we can do the preventive maintenance. We wouldn't notify someone on the 20th floor that someone on the 8th floor has bed bugs.
Elwin?
Sabrina, is this unique to Morningside? What about, what about Grand? I mean, nothing you've got to know.
Right.
Would you speak very briefly on that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, bed bugs is a New York City wide problem. It's not just Morningside.
Like the hotels.
It's-
Well, I don't know if
Right.
Astoria had it.
You have it in hotels, libraries, any waiting rooms, hospitals.
Okay.
Macy's had it, right.
Right.
And
Roberta?
Saxford Avenue had it.
Roberta?
I mean, it's a stupid question, other than what in your place, is there anything you can do to prevent getting bed bugs?
There are preventative tips. Again, I have a procedure guideline in the office, which, like I said, if anyone gives me a call, I can send it to you. But definitely, there are tips that you can do to prevent.
You know, Sabrina, it really might be good if you pass out to everybody, the whole co-op, the paper material that the gentleman gave us when he gave the speech, because it talks about
Right,
filling
that's
in the
it.
crevices
Yes.
and all. That would answer a lot of.
Right,
people's-
that's also-
Those 2 sheets, they were really very helpful.
Informative. That's also included, I'm sorry, we had a bed bug seminar last week. You were there, and it was very, very informative session. We had an entomologist from our current exterminating company, Western Pest Services, and he did an extremely great job on making the shareholders aware what to look for, what the bed bugs look like, preventative things that you can do to prevent the bed bugs. And there was a handout sheet which actually is included in the procedures, which I can give out to everyone.
Marie?
That was an excellent session, and I think one of the basic things that the gentleman said, and made me think twice, was to avoid clutter, particularly around your bed.
Right, exactly.
John?
Yes, the board has taken, really aggressive stance on this, and just so you know, this is a very liberal policy we have. A lot of buildings do not pay for the eradication of bed bugs. We want to be very proactive. We don't want anyone to kind of have to live with bed bugs or be afraid they can't afford to eradicate them, and we've taken this stance. Also, we have a couple of exterminators we work with. They have this down to such a science. They know how bed bugs move and operate. They don't cross hallways. They go down and up. So, like, if there are bed bugs in the building, it doesn't mean, oh my God, we should move because they're going to come to my apartment. We're treating them very aggressively and eradicating them very quickly. And that's why if you think you have it, suspect, you should immediately call Sabrina.
Yes.
And not try to deal with it yourself. But we have 2 different companies we're working with.
Leila?
I was just gonna say, I was reading an article in a paper that said that, you shouldn't, people discard clothing.
Right.
And we do a lot, I know in my building, people leave bags and bags of old clothing down in the cellar. And they say you should never take that into your
Right.
apartment because that's how this.
That information is actually included on the bed bug prevention tip. Never take, when you go outside, you see used furniture, old furniture, bring it into your apartment, or bags of clothing or anything to that effect, because you never know what's in those clothes.
What do the treatments consist of? When they say 2 treatments, what are the treatments? What do they do?
Okay, well, depending on where they find the bed bugs, normally it's found in the bed, in the mattress, or sometimes it's found on a sofa. They will treat the sofa, they will treat or the bed. They will also treat the apartment. Again, they will do the cracks and crevices of the apartment. They will dust the outlets as well.
So the treatment means putting some kind of dust on them?
No, spraying, it's a chemical. The chemical. The dust they put in the outlets because the bed bugs can travel through outlets.
And do they distribute information on how you protect yourself from breathing it in or stuff like that, or what you should wear a mask or anything like that?
Well, normally when they do the treatment, you should not be in the apartment. Okay. Usually 2 to 3 hours. We would like for you not to be in the apartment until the odor dissipates.
You asked about things around. We had a major infection, the worst we ever had a few years ago. I was the president at the time, like in 2008. So they had to bring in the canine. I mean, really had an enormous. They had to pull out outlets. It's unbelievable. And then they go around, and the dog. They go to a adjacent apartment. The dog sits by a table. Wouldn't move from there. They take him away, they move him, he goes right back there. It turned out that the woman that owned this apartment found this table somewhere and brought it home. So lucky for her, the bed bugs didn't get to her bed yet. They were still in it. So that's very, very good point you made, Leila. Marie.
Just a humorous aside, but it's dogs that have particularly sensitive noses, hunting dogs and beagles and that sort. So don't try to train your food. Good idea. And if you feel itchy, we all do, but we're trying not to shout.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you so much, Sabrina.
Okay, thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
If anyone wants, as a matter of fact, I will distribute the bed bug prevention tips. Okay, but I do have a full procedure guideline. If anyone wants, they can shoot on me in the manager's office.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sabrina.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening. Go home. Okay, now, sure.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. What we'll do is we'll have John go through it, and then we will have questions.
So the first thing we did, as we always do, is approve the minutes of the last board meeting. The second thing that happened is Frank Argelia had a presentation from the sales office about apartment sales, and it was an excellent presentation. You can see it on the videotape if you'd like. To basically say that things are moving along. They are selling more apartments in the last year than the previous year, and he attributed that to a couple of things. One, we now have an advertising budget, so he has the ability to advertise some of the apartments on a few different websites that he's been working with, and that apparently has been producing more people coming to the co-op to buy apartments. And secondly, he's been working very hard with the shareholders, and a lot of shareholders now realize that the maximum resale price that is published in the yearly document you get is a fairy tale. And when people start to realize that that is not what the apartment can get on the marketplace, and they have more realistic expectations, the apartment will sell. So it was a very encouraging report. He's doing a great job, and the board was very pleased to hear that. The other thing that people need to realize, if you are selling an apartment, you go through the management office, and you think you have to go through the management office for at least 120 days, it's like a free broker. If you bring a broker in, it's a 6% fee, so it really does save you a lot of money to work with the management office, and also the co-op ends up getting more money because the flip tax is a little higher. So it's a win-win situation, and we're working very hard to make it better and better. Hopefully you love it here, you don't want to sell your apartment, but if you do, things are getting better. Keith Werney of Cooper Square Realty spoke also. He's the president of City Line Division, the division in Cooper Square that houses our management company. He reported, he kind of was owning up to a couple of errors that were made, particularly in the accounting for the tax forms that went out. And he offered some conciliatory things to the board and a little bit of reduction on some areas. He was very responsive to a lot of things the board has been asking for from Cooper Square, and I, for one, really appreciated him being there and taking a very proactive stance to some of the things that we were not happy with Cooper Square. The management report followed, and we basically had to approve the crime insurance policy, which we have because we have a security staff that covers guns. That's one thing that was approved, and also we approved the board of directors liability insurance, officers liability insurance. At the same time that we approved that, I think we were asking them to shop it around a little bit further. We have a great amenity here. It's the gym, and there was a requisition to spend some money on new gym equipment. The equipment ages. I think it's been 4 years since some of them have been replaced, and the board approved replacing some of the equipment in the gym. In addition, all these flash reports and pieces of paper and what have you, a lot of printing gets done here at Morningside. We have 3 copiers in the office. One of them is very old, and we approved 2 new leases for 2 new copiers. I think we're eliminating one of the old ones, getting a new one, and a new one on top of that. So that was approved by the board. The exterior lighting, as you know, the bridging is starting to come down slowly. And in order to complete the local law 11 work on the facades of the building, the Cobra lights need to come off. The Cobra lights are attached to the facade. They need to be removed in order to finish the pointing of the building. So that's been happening. You might have walked around and seen some of them on the ground. So those are going. So that means we have to get new exterior lighting. Our staff is putting up some temporary lighting, and a subcommittee of the S&S committee has been working on and put forth a motion to hire what is his name? A consultant to do, Dominico Gonzalez, to come up with a proposal for the exterior lighting. This is a major undertaking. It is a major proposal. It's going to take probably 6 to 9 months for him to put together the proposal. He was the best liked of all the people that came forward. I think a bid went out with requests for 7 or 8 consultants. I think something on the order of 5 came forward with proposals. They got it down to 3 that they interviewed, and they were shocked that this guy can consented to work with us because he's such a star in lighting, and we're hoping that we will come up with a really great solution. So more to come on that. They're right now in the process of finalizing the contract. Some of you who live around the Boiler Road, apparently there's been excessive noise from the fan, and we had a lot of complaints about the noise, and the board approved a motion to put in some kind of damper that will reduce the level of noise around that fan. So hopefully that will be effective. The exhaust fan project. If you're going to your bathroom and you look up in the bathroom, you see a vent, that is the exhaust fan. A simple test to see if it's working, if you want to know if it's working, put a piece of paper up against it. If the paper sucks against it, it is working. It should be working. If it doesn't, if the paper falls down, it doesn't mean it's not working very well. But they haven't been attended to in a long time, and they've really filled with dirt, and we have started the process of looking down the shaft and determining how dirty they are and what needs to be done to address the situation. So that is moving forward, that project. As everyone probably knows, Dwayne Reed has moved out, and the board is actively working to rent the space and looking into hiring some commercial brokers to help us do that. Garbage Solution was in closed session. As per the agreement with Cooper Square, their second term renewed as of February 1st, 2013. You may recall it was a 2-year contract. So February 1st is the beginning of the second year with Cooper Square. We have also been working, we got a lot of complaints about tenants and shareholders not curbing their dogs, and we're going to work to put up more signs and things of that nature around. So that was approved, more signage. The local law 11 work, we talked about the Cobra lights. Brand has been taking those lights down and doing the pointing around that. So that was a continuation of that project and approved. I hope I live to see the day that the scaffolding comes down around building 2. I've lived here since 2007, and I think 80% of the time I've had that scaffolding around the building. But it is now projected to come down the end of this month. Larry, hopefully you're hearing this.
So it doesn't have to wait for the lights?
No.
They're removing it already.
The work has been done. It's like 99% done around building 2. And then they have to go to the city. The city has to approve taking down the bridges. The lighting is a separate issue. So that's a totally separate issue. So building 2 and building 4 are nearing completion. Still living 6, sorry.
An umbrella when they take it down. We like the bridging.
Right. So there's a plus side to it. You know, you can put your umbrella down and you can get to the property, but
yeah, building 1 suffers now, no bridges.
I'm ready for the sunshine. Let's see. Cooper Square, well, I think is doing a really good job for us. They're doing a customer satisfaction survey, and they seem to be getting good feedback on the survey when the maintenance come into the apartment. They're trying to get feedback to see how the maintenance men are doing, and so far the reports have been pretty good. We had the talk about bed bugs tonight. Western Pest is the primary exterminator, but as I said, the board has taken a very aggressive stance with bed bugs, and we interviewed and brought on a few other exterminators, and it was deemed that Unique Pest Control is another pest company that we're going to be working with, and so now we have the ability to have 2 separate ones. So we can really act very quickly if something comes up. So there's 2 companies, Western Pet and Unique Pest Control, and they both have some sort of contract with them. Andy Ackerman reported about the treasurer report and the issue with the 1098 forms. It's early in the year, so the treasurer report tends to be a little skewed because of timing with taxes and stuff like that. Let's see, what are the main things to talk about? Yes, we're going to have the audit in midterm. I don't think there's anything outstanding. We're working very hard to have a balanced budget this year. Cooper Square was very effective in helping us keep things under control last year. We would have had a much higher maintenance increase had they not done the work they did last year. And the temporary boiler was gone. That was costing us $20,000 a month. So that is gone. We are on our own boilers now. So a lot of things are moving in the right direction, and we expect to have a balanced budget at the end of this year. So stay tuned for that. Is there something else you wanted me to talk about here? Larry DeDonna spoke about our external audit would be taking place on April. The date was changed to meet the printing of the annual report. The bylaws committee we talked about the committees. I think it was a report on who was on the committees and an update on the committee members. As you know, a new bylaws advisory committee has been formed, and Yvonne Martin-Kutzela is the chairperson. The family activity committee is Anika Norregan. The finance committee, you can read the names of the people on all the different committees if you'd like, and the people who resigned. There'll be a complete list in the minutes coming out. The composting, I believe they are working still to try to make that happen. It's my understanding, and I may be incorrect, but initially we were told that the city was only working with schools, and that was one of the things that threw the wrench in the whole composting thing. But I think there is some movement to try to work with a liaison to the city to maybe get that moving again. We're working, well, yes, we have, the loan that we have is, we have a balance in the loan. Some of it, as you know, Wells Fargo holds in advance to the local law 11 work. Some of that money we have in various accounts. Because it is a significant amount, more than $250,000, it is not insured. So we have insurance on that money. Unbeknownst to us, there was a cost for that insurance. But now the broker who was holding the money on us has agreed to pay that insurance. So this fee was a one-time fee. This will not happen again in the future. The amenities committee is working very hard to deal with a lot of the amenities. They are trying to clean up the indoor bicycle racks. They want people who are not using their bikes, or we have some bikes that are left there. They've been going through and trying to ascertain whose bike is who and get rid of some of the bikes that may have been left there. And so that is in the process of happening. Also, there were some, the renting of this room by non-cooperator events has been something that's gone on here for a long time, and as you know, the fees have not raised in a long time, and the board increased the fees for some of these people who were renting the room. There was a little bit of pushback, and they decided to adjust some of the fees, and these are the fees that they came up with for renting of this room for non-cooperator events.
Not just classes.
Anything, parties, some people, this room is available.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you want to have a yoga class and the yoga class is open to the residents and the shareholders, that would be a qualifying class. If you have something that's exclusive of the residents or not really an amenity to the residents and you're renting the room, these fees would not apply. As you know, we are coming up with administrative fee schedule for infractions against the House rules. And the Policy and House Rules Committee has come up with a set of fees where the first fee would be $25, a repeat fee would be $50, and subsequent fees would be $100. Not curbing your dog would be an infraction. And the security staff will have the right to write you a ticket and charge a fee. So they probably will give you a warning first time, but should you break the rule, then the fee will be applied. Let's see. Okay, so I think that's it. That's the basic.
Okay.
What? I didn't hear you. Balcony changes, is that on here?
Right next to the
Oh, the balconies. Cheryl, we're gonna have to change the affecting exterior department. That's pretty typical. That's part of the house rules. Any kind of renovation to your apartment, you have to have approval for it. And you certainly cannot pierce the outside of the building. So one of the issues that comes up is running electric to the balcony, and so I think that will go through a window, but you're not allowed to pierce the building, period. First of all, as a cooperator, you own shares in this complex. You do not physically own the walls of your apartment. So.
Okay, Erwin, good, Andrea, and Alberta. Erwin?
Yeah, Russ, on number 3, Wayne Reed. One, I don't know if you could tell us, are we still receiving any money from Wayne Reed?
We wish we were, the lease expired, and.
The answer is no?
No.
Now, for the second question, without crystal ball, what's the future of a prospective client, tenant?
I think it's pretty good because we've been meeting with brokers and we've gotten some very good feedback that the neighborhood is certainly changing. I don't think we'll be in the position that we were in with Blockbuster. So I think the prognosis would be good for getting a tenant, but it's probably going to have to be a build out. Space will have to be worked on, so there'll be rent concessions for something like that.
So it's really problematic?
I don't think it's a problem, but it's no income for several months for sure.
Well, number 3, are there any kind of tenants that we're looking at in general, a cafeteria or a store or what?
Are we
You can
looking?
go to Brooklyn.
We're not looking at anything in particular.
Okay.
We are certainly not entertaining a bar. Or an IV one. But no, we wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's open, okay.
It's open. It's in process.
Okay, Andrea?
Two questions. One is about the chimneys. I see that's operating budget?
I think so.
And so, just so I understand, it's a 36-month lease for an annual cost of $11,820, so each year it's $11,000?
Yes, it's a $36,000.
So if it's, I'm just curious, if it is operating, what was put in the, I mean, how will this affect the budget? Was that thought about when the budget for 2013 was created, or is this gonna have to be
Well,
contingency?
we definitely allowed for different committees, line item budgets, and I don't have the budget with me, but I would have hoped that the gym would have put in a line item for it, like the communications committee, where it already
Right,
covered.
yeah.
So yes, it
I don't know if they
should
anticipated it, that's what
be. It should be been anticipated, because it's normal upkeep for the gym. The gym is a great amenity, it also makes money for the corporation. So, it's something we really have to keep, up to date. And if anyone goes to the gym, it's, for the last several years, it's been great, but in the last few months, a few of the equipment has been breaking down, so it really is time to update it.
And the other part of my question is for the feedback on maintenance. The report has been positive, but do you have any idea what the sample size is? Is it 3 shareholders?
No, it
30?
was a significant amount of shareholders, like anything from I have a leaky faucet to stuff
And
like
then the
that.
number of people, like, do we know how many people have given feedback?
It was like 30 or 40, it was not small.
It's broken down by months, it's about 40 people.
It was a fair amount.
Thank you.
Alberta,
I wanna go back to the bed bug for a few minutes.
could you speak
I wanna
louder?
go back to the bed bug issue.
Sure.
If a commercial tenant suspects or knows that they have bed bugs, are they required to go to the office as well?
They would be required to go to the office. My understanding, I think they are required to pay for the eradication, but we would not be paying for that.
But they would do the same thing that a shareholder would have to do?
Yes.
Do they know that?
I think they would know that. yeah.
Interesting.
A couple of things, I'm sorry. In terms of rental of space, I hope that we would not consider any more restaurants. One of my Building 5 residents had a miserable time while they were not only they were putting up the air conditioning and working on the roof, and then they lived forever with the smells and the heat and so forth. And the size of that restaurant, it's not like a little pizza place. It's huge. So that I would hope that we'd seriously think again about restaurants anywhere where there are apartments overlooking, but that certainly at Building 5, we've got enough restaurants.
Would you rather have a bar?
I include anything that involves water. And I have a couple more things.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
I appreciate the concern about dogs and pets on the grounds, but my experience is that along about 5 o'clock, people from the neighborhood come in. And I mean, do we have signs that sort of suggest that maybe there are guests and they shouldn't make us live in a pet toilet? And then, we find our residents and their dogs offend, but what do we do
I
about
don't know
the
how we
neighbors?
can find outsiders, but you can certainly report them and call security, and they will be asked to leave.
And then I have one more.
We have an
thing.
excellent staff
Sorry.
at Reedcliff.
Sorry about that. Number 3 next to it, I can't find, here we go. Oh, maybe I don't understand it, but, if somebody has a, personal family party or birthday party with their own child and they don't have to be inviting other people in the ground, is that considered an outside event?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well then I don't understand why people who are conducting classes and charging fees for the class get a lower rate, and our residents who happen to need an auxiliary space have to pay more.
I believe that, and you can speak with the amenities committee a little further on that, there's been a history of a few classes that have happened here that have been a benefit to the shareholders.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And it was to kind of placate the pushback we got on that. I don't think we're advertising for the YMCA to come in and rent the space. I mean, I think it was just an accommodation to a few existing classes.
But that, I mean, in a sense, it's the same kind of thing. You know, a person who's collecting a fee can get a cheaper rate, and a person who's personally bearing the expense has to pay the full rate if it has to be a personal one.
It's a business expense.
Pardon?
Somebody that gets paid for a class, it's a business expense for them. So,
Sure, exactly.
so why should we give them a free room?
Exactly.
You get money, you pay your business. Get it off your income tax.
We wanna keep it affordable for our residents. I mean, instead of having to pay $30 for a yoga class, because somebody's paying $15 to rent the room, if they're paying less, presumably they'll
Exactly.
charge us less. I
But
mean,
then you pay $50 for a birthday party, I mean.
Yes.
And you're spending not only the
It's
cost of the
$50 a
room, but the
year. It's
refreshments.
$50 a
But
year.
Marie,
A
Marie,
year.
So if your birthday party's for someone who's 10, it's, kidding. Marie,
I don't care.
people pay hundreds of dollars for birthday party.
Yeah, but
I don't
not me, okay.
What about building meetings?
Oh,
No,
that's.
No,
okay.
any
That's fine.
cooperative meeting
Oh, that's
that.
great.
Oh, yeah,
is
of course.
Okay.
Bernie,
I have a few questions. One, I'll start with the crime policy. What is meant by the crime policy?
which,
Page, first page, bottom, number 4, insurance renewals.
That is insurance. We have to pay insurance for our security staff,
For what?
our security staff.
Oh, I see, so the crime policy refers to the, insurance to cover them,
Yes.
well, in case they, in case they get hurt or something, or in case they do something
I
that's.
believe it's because they get hurt and also, you know, they carry guns and something happens, there's, you know, a lot of liability having to do with that. It's a liability, insurance that is taken out for the security staff.
Okay. Then, on next item, just before, number 7, is, the amount of the invoice, $8,508, and, is this what that, you said this is what the co-op is paying to insure the $250,000?
No. The federal insurance on deposit is $250,000. Anything over $250,000 is not insured.
Okay.
We have something like $6 or $8 million in a money market account.
Okay.
That money is not insured.
Okay.
Okay, we want insurance on that money. So the first year or so, the insurance was $8,000. We did not realize that we were paying insurance. They broke it into us that.
Right.
We have now objected to that, and the broker is covering the insurance. So that was a one-time fee that we had to pay. It's done. Henceforth, our money is insured, and there's no fees.
And who is the insurance, who is it backed up by?
Who's it backed up by?
Yeah, in other words,
I don't know.
FDIC is
No,
the
FDIC
federal
is
government,
No,
but,
it's a private insurance company.
so it's as good as the insurance company is. So we, I guess, I thought, you know, because some insurance companies
Well, I
have
don't
gone,
think
like
it's,
AIG and so on, gone
active
belly up, and the
insurance.
government has to bail them out.
Insurance or us, no?
Yeah. You know, it's a very stable insurance company. It also is in a bank and, you know, I guess anything.
You say it's in a
anywhere.
bank?
What?
Did you say it's in a bank?
It's in a brokerage.
Oh,
No, it's-
United States Bank.
United States Bank, okay.
Was that the name of the company? It's called the United
Is
States?
it First Service Financial, it said here? Is that the name, or what is First Service
If I may.
Financial?
No,
John?
yes, go ahead.
It's United States Bank. First Service Financial is a CSR company that has advised us on where to put the money.
Uh-huh.
It's their company.
They recommended this bank because this bank would insure our money over $250,000. That's why it's there.
Okay,
And then
and,
you can assure me that they'll know.
and,
lucky and then you asked already. Okay?
yeah,
Barbara?
Go on to somebody else.
just one more question
Okay.
about the gym. I mean, this is on the sheet, so I'm sure everyone could be concerned about this. Now, so there's gonna be a fee for you know, using this, you know, if someone's teaching yoga, let's say, now if they use this room, these fees apply to this particular room here. So
Yes.
if someone teaches yoga, let's say in the gym, that's, I guess, be free, or how would that work?
Well, they should not be teaching yoga in the gym.
Or there are people.
They're not. I mean, if someone has a private trainer or something
Yeah.
teaching them yoga, I think that's different than a yoga class in the gym.
Okay, so
The yoga class in the gym is not permitted.
but one-on-one would be.
Well, I think it's a gym, and we have to allow people to do things that they would do in a normal gym.
Yeah,
So
I'm not
if you have a
objecting, I
trainer-
just want to know what the policy is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Barbara?
I'll just somebody else.
Okay, Lottie, and then Edwin.
I'd like to find out, if it's still a secret, to find out about the garbage solution.
There's no secret. What do you want to find out?
Well, I want you to know if it goes in.
I don't think all the details have been worked out yet, unfortunately. We're waiting for a couple of pieces of information. It's a complicated scenario because the sanitation has given us only one place we can put it. As you know, it's right by where Medfood's entrance is, so there are things going on with that, and it's very close to being resolved. But I don't think.
Is it our space or the Met space we are using?
We can't
It's
comment
all
on that at this
upstairs.
time, Lottie.
Can't really say.
Okay.
Hopefully it's gonna be resolved very soon.
Okay?
Thank you.
On the gym, an expense of $11,820. Now, we're getting money from the gym attendees, correct? So why are we, though it's a nice amenity, why are we paying, as a corporation, this outlay of money, though we receive fees, hopefully, that pay for the operating and capital expense? Why are we paying $11,000?
We have a gym. We're
Right.
charging people to use the gym.
Correct.
We have to maintain that gym. If that gym is not up to snuff, people are not gonna use the gym.
Are we getting enough money to pay for the gym?
More than enough. It is a money-making
So
proposition.
why is it the money making? Why is it paying for the capital expense?
It is not gonna pay. It's not a capital expense, this is operating. I don't know.
I think he's saying the money that we pay to use the gym, where's that going? Like, why doesn't that money just get recycled into this?
Of course it does.
That's
And then
what
the
he's
profit
asking
goes
about.
into our pocket.
And where are we paying, then why are we paying $11,280?
I can't get something for that.
I don't understand your question. Erwin, it's simple capitalism. We charge money for a gym.
I understand.
Okay, we make $90,000, I'll say, from the gym, okay? We put $10,000 into the gym every year, we pocket
All right, then
$80,000.
now that's clear. In other words, we're running at a profit after
Absolutely.
an outlay of 11.
Yes.
Why are you saying yes? It's not clear. Now it's clear. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Keep it up, we will make one.
Yeah,
Once more on doing reads, I wonder a bit where the optimism comes from, because Amsterdam Avenue, I think half of the stores are empty up to Columbia. And even stores of the same size as in the Columbia, what is it, the School of Social Work. It's,
Well, I you know, where my
And my
office
question
is
is, can we
downtown,
really be so
I just think the recession has ended, and we're not in that climate, so that's where the optimism comes from. You know, when my office is down on 20th Street, there were 15 stores empty. There are no stores empty now down there. Now, of course, it's not the same area, but I think the same thing applies up here. I don't think we'll be in the position of struggling to rent it like we were, and we've been told that by a number of brokers. Now, maybe they're being more optimistic because they want to work with us, but I do think we're not in the same climate. The Columbia project, if you look at it, actually can see some building progress going on, so I think things are changing for us. That's where it comes from. I mean, we're not under the false impression that we're going to get a magical tenant overnight, but we are working very hard to.
I mean, I just stumbled upon it the other day. The Gap opened the store on 125th Street.
wondering because I think Columbia is as smart in finding tenants for its stores downstairs.
Well, we don't have a crystal ball, but we are very optimistic that, we will move on a tenant relatively soon.
We knew the lease was coming up. Is it customary to wait till the lease is up before you get a broker to show these?
There were negotiations with someone that fell through. And that's all I can say about that. So it wasn't like we just waited.
Erwin, one last question.
On the exhaust fan?
What? Go ahead, one last
Do we
question.
assume that the exhaust fan, the electric, the fan are all set now?
No, this is a project that is just beginning. Yeah, no,
One quick
definitely.
Question about,
One quick question and then.
right, just about the pizza place. Now, is it also, is that gonna be rented out, or is it gonna be the former pizza place next to that? Or
Well, we're definitely go on.
I mean, no, but again, it's nothing definite on the horizon, it's just something that we're.
Yeah, we are moving to hire a broker. A very good commercial broker. She's in charge.
Okay, thank you.
One bit. On the open market, on the maximum resale price.
Yes.
Obviously, it's a fictional amount, we all understand that. So, why are we going through the expense of publishing all, you know what I'm asking?
It's in the bylaws.
The bylaw.
Can we change
We're
that?
working to do that.
51% of the shareholder will have to put.
Can we change
Well,
that?
I'm gonna encourage you to campaign to do that, yes.
No, is
Definitely
it in the
can.
cards to change it?
Yes, we
Okay,
need
thank you.
51%.
I know what we need, is it in the works?
Yeah, I think it's a different environment also than when it came up for a vote, what was it, 5 years ago?
08, May 08.
So yes, I think it will change.
Okay.
It's fiction, so yes. I
And
agree.
we're wasting all this.
I agree with you. But it's in the bylaws, so we cannot let do it, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let me see if we have a majority of the people here.
Wasting our money.
Kevin, okay, approval of the January 31st meeting.
Taking a quorum?
Minutes, let's check, I think we have a quorum of the people that voted on it. Yeah, we have a quorum.
We can take it.
Well, we can, okay.
Take the quorum.
All right, you can take it. Yeah,
How many did you get?
15.
15? Thank you.
I know it's from Compton Group Funding.
No, I just counted.
Yeah, okay, so, let's see. The January 31st, I sent everybody this morning another email because I got a couple of corrections. Everybody got it?
Very good.
Okay, so, I guess I need a motion to approve the minutes,
I move.
okay? Second?
Second.
Second. Erwin moves. Could you please, Mike? Erwin moved it. Ann Jackson, second?
Oh, for the reason.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold it, wait.
All right, so I'll read the name of the people that attended the meeting and can vote. So just say yes or no. Okay. Kevin Bradley?
Yes.
Andrea Brecker?
Yes.
Erwin Robson?
Yes.
Lucky Strauss?
Yes.
Barbara William Henry?
Yes.
Marie Wilson?
Yes.
Bernice Wick?
Yes.
Diane Cook?
Yes.
Leila Elder?
Yes.
Ann Jackson?
Yes.
Eric Meyeroff?
Yes.
Valerie Stewart?
Yes.
Linda Zender?
Yes.
Okay. Minutes approved. Okay, now, Kenneth Thomas
Can
was
you
going.
explain that? What was that?
Okay. All right, for those of you that are new, each building can have 4 delegates, voting delegates at the MGCA. Okay, so the voting delegates are the ones that can vote on the minutes. But if any one of you would like to get an email, I'll be happy to send you the email of the minutes. Anyone interested, I'll be happy to. As a matter of fact, we'd like to put it on the website. I wonder if there is any volunteer that would like to do the copy editing before we put it on the website. Marie, would you like to do some copy editing? of the meetings.
No, because I wanted it in paper, so I can.
No, you'll get it in paper.
But I don't want to first.
Okay, fine. All right. Now, Kenneth Thomas was going to give us a report on the collection of money for the churches for food. At the last minute, I got an email from him that he's going to the West Coast for some kind of unexpected trip, and he sent me his comment and asked me to read it to you. So, assume I'm Kenneth Thomas now. Okay. The February 2013 collection was primarily for the Broadway Community Incorporation Soup Kitchen and Food Program. They serve thousands of meals each year. Each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, fresh and healthy meals are served to 100 to 120 guests who are hungry and have limited financial resources. In addition, low-income families are given pantry bags with groceries they have chosen for 9 meals each week from supermarket-style shelves. This month, in February, 57 donations were given, including 2 for Riverside Church and 1 for St. Mary's Food Pantry, for a total of $2,577. I'd just like to explain something. There are a few churches in the neighborhood, and they have 3 times a year collection, and each collection is focusing on one of the churches. But if any one of the people that is donating money wants it to go to another church, that's fine. They just write a check to that church. So this time it was primarily for the for the St. Joseph's Church, right? Am I getting it right? February, yeah.
That's for Broadway.
Yeah, and somebody gave for St. Mary, and someone gave for Riverside Church. Okay, so this total was $2,577. This is $200 less than a year ago. The contribution ranged from $7 to $500, with an average of $45. All our donations are used for food. Nothing is deducted for administrative costs. And this he emphasized when he was here in November, I believe, that it's clearly made to the churches that they give the checks for food only, no administration, nothing else, just food. All donations are used for food. Nothing is deducted for administrative costs. The food programs are very grateful for the annual assistance coming from the Morningside Garden residents. Thank you.
May I say
Sure.
one quick thing?
Sure,
The
please.
city has reduced their grants to
Right.
these food pantries.
Right.
And I'm connected with the Riverside Food Pantry.
Right.
And we have as many as 88 people, with the rest being turned away 4 days a week. And there are more and more people coming because other smaller pantries have closed, and many more young people. So the need is very real, and some of the smaller churches are really suffering in doing it.
So, I mean, he's really doing a great job. Okay, there's nothing special for me to report today. Building reports. Yes, Marie.
Building 5 had its meeting with, or offered a meeting with floor representatives. Our bylaws require us to have someone on each floor who connects with people there. We try to connect with those people every year, at least once or twice, and we try to steer problems that have to be directed to management, either through the floor representative or through the chair of the building, so that management doesn't get 30 or 40 calls on the same issue. And the system seems to work very well.
Good. Any other reports? Okay. Any new business? Yes.
The question I wanted to raise is not about Morningside itself, but you know the garbage dump on Diamond Place in Broadway?
Yes.
I was wondering if we could consider raising the possibility of having that moved to 125th and Amsterdam, because there's a very big space there. And the dump here is very cramped, and it's very often dirty, and also smells, and also things sticking out, and a lot of big furniture left outside. And also when the garbage trucks park there, you have to skirt them and go on the street, which is a source of danger. Now it's very heavily used because people go to the subway station. Now on 125th in Amsterdam, there's a huge space between the library and the corner of LaSalle. And the trucks actually don't even have to back up like here. They could just go straight through. I mean, enter on 125th and exit in Amsterdam. It will affect some of the, people who park, but a few of them, some of them can take up that current space now, and it will really improve the quality of life a lot if that could be. Now it requires an effort and probably kind of a campaign or something of that sort.
Right here sits Ernestine Welsh, who is a member of Community Board 9. What can you tell us about it?
I'm afraid that it's out of our hands. It's the city.
The city.
The city makes that decision. And as from what I can gather, this subject has been brought up over and over, and we have been told that the only place the waste can be is wherever we have set it. And it's city owned. Everything is city owned.
Yeah, but what about that space I mentioned between, at the corner of 125th and Amsterdam, which is huge space between the library?
Which is a housing development.
No, it's part of the same compound.
No.
It's part of the whole space.
No. Different
one?
Different centers on this.
Different what?
City agencies have control of this.
Yeah, but what I mean is, it's the same compound, the same group of buildings.
It's not the same group of buildings. No. That's not.
It's not across the street, it's the same block.
It's housing,
Well,
housing.
I guess your answer is, are you ready to fight City Hall?
I think we could raise the issue of the dangerousness of that
We've done this
area.
Excuse me, just a second, please. Ernestine, could you speak up, please?
I said we've already done this over and over, and they have been to the board, and you can go again and present it, but that is not the within the jurisdiction of this group, the co-op.
I know, it's not within our jurisdiction. I said initially that, it's not our guidance itself, but it affects our quality of life.
It does.
And all of us go to the subway all the time.
I agree with you. You're making an excellent point.
We've been fighting this.
Sounds like community relations work to me.
Maybe Community Relation Committee could do anything, I don't know, but they.
Well, we could refer it. The more you complain, maybe you'll get something done.
Okay.
Because the only people I can see who would be adversely affected, and not all of them too, because some of them can be moved to the current space, are those who are parking there. But vastly larger numbers of people would be positively affected if that happened.
Okay, maybe the Community Relation Committee can look into it and talk to you again about it. Okay? Anything else? Yes, Alberta.
On a couple of occasions, maybe one or two occasions, I've heard comments made about security being short-staffed. And I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I've heard the comment made. As I was walking out on 123rd Street and Broadway, I happened to pass the booth, and I saw two people in the one booth. It seems to be kind of a disconnect there. If you're short-staffed, why would two be occupying one booth at one spot? Wouldn't it be more logical to have them dispersed?
Good question. I have no answer for it. John?
I mean, I have not heard that. The board has not.
Have you heard that, Tommy?
Well, Vincent has not come to us to tell us they're short-staffed. He would tell me that immediately.
The guard
If there's
is
two people in a booth.
Just a second. One
If there's two
person,
people in a booth, it could be